Hi my angels, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with a foundation testing video. This is the new Maybelline Superstay 24-hour full coverage foundation. I'm not going to be testing this out for 24 hours unfortunately, but I used this once and I was like, I really want to see how well it actually lasts on my skin, and I also wanted to document it, so I thought, why not just make it into a video and let you guys know as well, because this is a new foundation, and the one time that I used it in a tutorial, I really liked the finish of it. So today we are going to be testing out the staying powder because it claims to be a 24-hour full coverage foundation. I have already moisturized my skin, so I'm going to go in with a primer. I think I'm going to go in with an oldie but a goodie. This is the Professional by Benefit. I feel like this is such a cult primer and loads of people have this that I thought I would test it out with this one. I am only going to prime one half of my face. I'm going to prime my right side, and I'm going to leave the left side unprimed to see whether or not a primer makes a difference with this foundation. And I'm also going to be applying it with my favorite application method of all time, and that is my beauty blender. So the foundation that I have is in the shade 36 Warm Sun. It looks really like dark in the bottle, but once I've put it on my skin it looks all right. So as my skin is already moisturized, I'm going to go in with my primer, and I'm going to get it onto my right side of my face. I like to smooth this one over because it is a pore filling primer. I feel like I haven't actually used this in a very long time either. Now onto the good stuff. We're going to go in with the foundation itself. I'm going to get 2 pumps on the back of my hand. They're big pumps. I'm going to start off with the unprimed side. And this is pretty full coverage, but it doesn't look cakey. I still remember the first time I tried this, it actually really surprised me. Maybelline actually got rid of my favorite foundation, which is the Fit Me, and that's the original Fit Me, and I was so sad to hear that it had been gone, but maybe this one will replace my original Fit Me, so we'll see. So as you can see, the coverage is real. It's actually really nice coverage. It's still got a really nice kind of glow to it as well. I haven't actually read out what exactly this foundation is supposed to do. We'll do that in a second. Although I've used this before, I really do enjoy the coverage of it, and I also love the kind of finish because it's got a really nice kind of dewy finish to the foundation. It's not too matte, it's not too drying, and it doesn't feel heavy at all on the skin. Backtracking a little bit, this actually says on the Boots website that it stays comfortable and looks naturally flawless all day, and it's got a micro flex formula, and it provides a 24-hour wear with no transfer, and it withstands heat, sweat and humidity. It's also oil-free, dermatologist tested. I'm pretty sure I said that word wrong. Fragrance-free, and it's also suitable for all skin types. So it sounds like a pretty decent foundation. And as you can see on this side of my face, it's slightly oxidized, very slightly, and it looks a little less kind of glowy, but I'm not mad at it. I actually really like this coverage. I've still got about half a pump left on my hand, so I think 3 pumps will give you a good amount of coverage all over your face. I'm just taking a pump and a half again onto my hand, and now I'm gonna go over the primed side. So as you can see, it has oxidized a little bit. In case you are wondering, there are 6 shades in total, which isn't that great, but it is a drugstore foundation, and here in the UK we struggle with space. All of our Boots and our Superdrug stores here in the UK are tiny. They don't have the space to actually stock a full range, which sucks. There's not much of a difference so far when it comes to the way that it's performing on the side that I've got my primer on. But I kid you not, the look and the feel and the coverage of this foundation is beautiful. It's actually really impressive for a drugstore kind of full coverage foundation. I really like this. But this is what it's looking like on my face. Once I have concealed my under eyes and done a bit of bronzing, it'll probably help even everything out. But so far, even up close, it doesn't look heavy around my mouth, and it has also covered my freckles really well. So I would definitely say that this is a full coverage foundation. It's not one of those medium to full coverages. In my last foundation testing video, I skipped out my base, but today I'm going to do it with you guys. And I'm also going to be telling you the reasons as to why I do certain things. Because in my last video, people were like, you didn't set your face, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I don't set my face in any of my tutorials, so I wouldn't do it in a foundation video. But I'm going to go in with concealer. I'm using my Eraser Eye, which is by Maybelline. I use this almost pretty much every day. I'm going to take this on underneath my eyes like so. A little bit on my forehead and a tiny bit on my chin. And I'm also going to take this up on the sides of my nose. And this is just going to help it look a little bit slimmer when we come to contouring the nose. I'm just going to get a tiny bit of my Tarte Shape Tape concealer, and I'm going to put 2 dots in the center, and that's just going to help further brighten. And then taking my pointy end of my beauty blender, I'm just going to start blending all of that away, and I want to try and keep it as targeted under my eyes as possible. And as you can see, it's completely brightened that up. And this is how I do my makeup all the time. Like, this is how I do my base with any foundation. So this is why I do the same thing in my foundation testing video, because I want to see how the foundation lasts and performs with all my other favorite products on top and also underneath the foundation as well. Once I've got majority of it blended, I take the foundation end and I just go over the sides so it's nice and blended into the rest of the makeup. I'm going to set my under eyes using my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This is in shade number 1. And I'm going to set my under eyes, which I do all the time, down the sides of my nose. Again, which I do all the time. And the other eye. Also where I popped concealer on my forehead and then a little bit on my chin. So that just sets the areas that I've applied that highlight and concealer. And that, you guys, is my base done. I generally never set the rest of my foundation, and that is just a personal preference of mine. But as you can tell, this foundation is now dried and it's looking pretty matte, as opposed to when I first applied it. It was looking quite dewy and glowy. But I do pop bronzer around the perimeter, so that kind of helps sets the foundation, so to speak. But yeah, that is my base done. Now I'm just going to quickly head off camera, do my bronzer, my lashes, and maybe just pop a bit of a lip balm on, and then I'll be back. So I'm back with the rest of my makeup all done. I applied some bronzer, which blended in really beautifully, as did the highlight. Actually, I forgot to put a little bit of my Fenty on top, so I'm just going to quickly pop some of that on top of my highlighter. I've been doing this a lot recently and I just love it. But yeah, my highlighter went on really well. I used the Makeup Revolution Ultra Pro Glow Kit and also the Marc Jacobs bronzer. And for cheeks, I just popped whatever was left on my blush brush, and this is the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette. Other than that, there's nothing else on my base. I did just put some mascara on and a lipstick. This lipstick, if you're wondering, is the Primark lipstick and it's in the shade Naked, and I've been loving it a lot. And yeah, that is my makeup all done. It's currently 10:17 in the morning, and I'm going to try and keep this foundation on as long as I possibly can. But yeah, so far I'm really liking the way that it's looking. Once I've got my bronzer and my concealer and everything on, it has balanced out the rest of the foundation, because it first was looking quite oxidized and quite dark, but it looks pretty good right now. I can't really complain. Up close and personal, it has dried matte. Foundation never settled into my smile lines, but for some weird reason on this side, I kind of see it gathering a little bit. My pores don't look big at all. They don't really look like they're there, which is good. And that's on both sides. And right now I can't really see a difference between the primer side and the non-primed side. So I guess that is the first half of this video done. And I will check back in with you guys in a few hours, and we will see how this is lasting. So I'll see you guys soon. I am back, you guys, and it is almost... It's almost 9 o'clock, which means that I've had this foundation on for about 11 hours, and this is what it's looking like at the moment. I've got to say, my skin has held up so incredibly well. It has gotten oily on my nose and very slightly on my forehead. Those are the general areas where I tend to get oily throughout the day. It has a very slightly around the bottom part of my nose kind of come off, but nothing noticeable. Like, if I was to look at my skin right now, considering I've not powdered it, I have not touched it, I tried not to scratch my face or touch my face, but it's lasted really, really, really well. I am very impressed by this foundation, the coverage of it, the longevity of it. If I wanted this to last longer, I would need to powder my kind of T-zone, and I think I'd be good to go. My lipstick has completely come off. Other than that, my foundation has stayed quite put, and I'm really, really liking the finish still. I did completely forget to mention that this foundation is £9.99. That's what it's currently telling me on Boots, and you get 30ml in it, which is pretty decent for a drugstore foundation. Overall, I'm really happy with the way that it's lasted for 11 hours on my skin. The only downside I have for this foundation is that it creates a weird kind of flashback on my face whenever I take any pictures with flash photography. It is the case when I use my iPhone flash, and also when I use my Canon flash as well. I will include some pictures so you guys can see what I mean. That I really, really did not like. As you can tell, my skin is still really nice and bronzy from my bronzer, but that really didn't get picked up in camera. So I don't know whether I would wear this again when there is going to be any flash photography taking place, because I just don't think it did the foundation justice. However, the way that it's looking on my skin after a 12-hour wear, I am really happy with it. So I guess overall, I am really, really happy with this foundation. I will just make sure that I don't wear it when there's going to be flash photography. That's the only downside, but I just love the way that it looks and feels on my skin, as well as the lasting power. But now that I've come to the end of this wear test, I just want to powder my nose and my oily areas to see how it looks on my skin afterwards. So I'm taking my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and I'm just going to go ahead and just reset that area and see what my skin looks like, and whether it looks cakey or not, or if I could get away with it looking the way it's looking. Considering I've had this foundation on for 11 hours and I've just powdered my nose and T-zone kind of area now, the base still looks pretty good to me. It doesn't look too powdery or cakey around the areas that I have applied the powder on top, and it actually doesn't look like I've had this base on for as long as I've actually had it on for. So I guess all in all, I will definitely be using this foundation again, but just not when I'm going to be taking any flash photography pictures. It is a shame, because if it wasn't for that, I would probably be wearing this quite a lot. However, this will be more of a kind of daytime full coverage foundation for me. But that is the end of the video. I've got my scarf on because we've just got back home and the house is freezing. It is all of a sudden like 5 degrees here in the UK, and I was not ready for this in the morning, but I'm glad I had my scarf to keep me warm this day. But yeah, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed me testing this foundation out. Please do let me know if there are any other foundations you would like me to test out in the comments below. Do give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and please don't forget to subscribe before you guys leave. And yeah, that's all from me, and I guess I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!